And I'm standing here only because you made a you made a way. When our backs were against the wall, and it seems as if it was over, you made a way. And I'm standing here only because you made a way. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wealth Channel. We're a little early today because we got to make a abrupt move here on the road for 4th of July. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We were talking yesterday about this idea of faith and how faith is the evidence of things unseen, and how your faith is real, and how what reality is what you cannot see as opposed to what you can see. So only going to be a few minutes a few moments today, and you all can watch this video when you get a chance to. And I want to talk to you today about the fact that faith makes you, and we are live both here on Instagram as well as on YouTube as well. All right. So good morning, Beverly. Good morning to you, Finesse Cuts. Good morning to you, Terrian. Good morning to you, Edgy G. Good morning to you, Pens Power. Good morning to you, BP Speaks. All right. So let's get straight to this message today. Good morning to you, Angie. So let's read this right quick in Hebrews, in the book of Hebrews, 11th chapter. And the Bible says, "But without faith it's impossible to please him, for he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." So let's talk about three things that faith makes you. This is what I love about life, that you can put yourself in a position where you have to be successful. That's what I really love about life. You can just take certain stances, and you can stand on certain principles, and you can do things. Good morning, Joseph. How are you? Good morning, Eddie. And good morning, Kendra. You can do things in a certain kind of way where you have to be successful. I mean, like you don't have no choice. It's just like you walk into success. So let me explain to you what the part that faith has to play in this. First of all, faith makes you. The Bible says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. So that means that if you got faith, it's impossible not to please God. All right, let me get it to you again. The Bible says, without faith, it's impossible to please God. So that means that when you have faith, it's impossible not to please God. In other words, faith makes you pleasant. You say, what do you mean by that, Ricky? People who operate by faith are very pleasant people. You say, why are you so pleasant? It's because we already know everything already worked out. That's why we're so pleasant. They say, why are you so cool? It's like, I already know everything already worked out. They say, why are you so calm? It's because I know everything already worked out. Say, why you got so much confidence? That's because I know everything already worked out. Why? Because faith is a decision that you make personally, and that I make personally, and it's up to us to have it. So the first thing about faith is that it makes you pleasant. The second thing about faith is that the Bible says that he is a rewarder. God is a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. So the second thing about faith is that we are outcome driven. We're not driven out. Okay. All right. Faith makes you pleasant, not a peasant. All right. And then secondly, we are outcome driven. We're not driven out. In other words, we get everything that we got coming to us. Why? Because we outcome driven, meaning that we do things ahead of time because we already know that the outcome is worth it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Good morning, Sister Treywick. How are you? I'll stop by this morning to tell you this. You're enjoying your holiday today. Get into something today that's going to build up a whole bunch of income tomorrow. Work on something today while you got some free time, okay? Work on something today that's going to build you up some income tomorrow. Already know that the income is already made. All right, just go ahead and do the thing. Don't worry about the process. Let me tell you something. You don't need to know how God does something. You just need to know that God does something. All right? Take some notes quick because I'm only going to be here for a few minutes. I'm about to hit the road. You don't have to know how God is going to do something. Just know that God is going to do something. All right, let me run it by you one more time. You don't have to know how God is going to do something because he ain't going to show you how. But you have to know that God is going to do something. That means that we are outcome driven, not driven out. The reason that people are driven out of their inheritances, the reason that people are driven out of the authority that they're supposed to have is because they're not outcome driven. Are you listening to me? Don't worry about the immediate result about what happens in your life. Just know that the outcome, in other words, how you're going to come out of something is spectacular. Don't worry about how you're going to come out of something. Just know that you are going to come out, the outcome. All right. The outcome is how you come out of things. You say, I'm in the middle of a whole lot of mess right now, Ricky. Don't worry about that because you're coming out of that. Are you listening to me? And it doesn't matter about how God is going to do it. Just know that God is going to do it. That God is going to do it, not how God is going to do it. All right. So the number one thing about faith is that faith makes us pleasant, not peasants. See, peasants are unpleasant. Why? Because they don't operate by faith. Let me run it by you one more time. Peasants are unpleasant. Why? Because they don't operate by faith. That means that they're very fretful. And a fretful person is an unpleasant person to be around. Why? Because they ultimately are going to murmur and complain and murmur and complain. And they're going to always, they don't think the outcome is worth it. So they complaining while the whole situation is going on. Are you listening to me? And that's an unpleasant person to be around. Why? Because that's a peasant. We're not peasants. We're kings. We're queens. All right. We run kingdoms and dynasties. So the way that we behave is we behave like something happened before it happened because it already did happen. Are you listening to me? Because we can see what the next person can't see. We already see in our head this thing already took place. You say, well, Ricky, how do you know that took place? I know it took place by faith. You're like, well, that don't make no sense, Ricky. I need some facts. I'm like, well, faith are facts. All right. You say, Ricky, well, you live in a fantasy world. I'm like, no, I live in reality. You live in a fantasy world. Why? Because you are unpleasant, an unpleasant peasant. Why? Because you don't believe things. You believe you don't believe reality. You believe stuff, but you don't believe what's going to really happen. Because if you listen, every time you say this ain't going to happen, then you're saying this is going to happen. Are you listening to me? Every time you say this ain't going to happen, you're saying this is going to happen. All right. I said, listen, I'm gonna make $1 million in a month. You say that ain't gonna happen. I say it is gonna happen. You say, well, I don't believe it's gonna happen. Well, that means that you believe it ain't gonna happen. So it means what? It just ain't gonna happen for you, but it is gonna happen for me because I believe it. So you say, well, so what do you do, Ricky? Well, what I do is I put everything in motion as though it already happened. Why? Because I believe it already happened. Why? Because God ain't never about to do something. God has already done everything that's going to ever be done. And this is where you got to separate this human way of thinking from reality. See, your humanistic ways are not realistic. Your humanistic ways are fantasy world. But you think this is what the devil told you and what the world has taught us. The world has taught us to believe everything that we see. And I'm like, that's the phoniest stuff in the world. Why in the world would I believe phony stuff? I want to believe real stuff. I want to live a real life. I don't want no fake life. Okay. I want a life that's got some real substance to it, meaning that I'm not going to G for what's right in front of me because it ain't, because that's game. I know that's game. I know game when I see it, and you know it too. And that's why I don't like being around unpleasant people. Unpleasant people is because they don't operate by faith. The Bible says without faith, it's impossible to please God. Meaning that means you unpleasant. If you ain't pleasing God, that means you unpleasant. Now, how you going to be around a person whose aim is not even to please God and you want to hang out around them? Why is that? Because they are an unpleasant person. They don't operate by faith. They operate by fretfulness. They don't operate by faith. They operate by fretfulness. And because they are fretful, they are unpleasant. Because they are unpleasant, they are peasant. Because they are peasant, that means they're poorly, beggarly, and they complain a lot. And I like being around people like that. I'm like, look, everything is already gravy, Navy. Everything is already good. All right. You say, how you know that, Brother Ricky? I know it by faith. They say, but you ain't seen the future. I say, I do see the future. All right. I do see the future. I see the future because I know that things are going to happen because God said they're already going to happen. And the reason God says something going to happen is because it's already happened. See, God is not a man he should lie, the son of man he should repent. He don't have to explain to you how you're going to do something. He just lets you know that it's already done. Are you listening to me? That's not how God is. God ain't in the explanation business. All right. Because if he had to explain to you how he was going to do something, then that means that he would have to give up his game plan to you before he reveals it, which means that now you're not operating by faith. Now you're operating by sight, and God don't get down like that. That's not how God get down. God say the reason I get pleasure is because you don't know how I'm going to do it. You just believe I'm going to do it. So he say, I get pleasure from you. Why? Because you're a pleasant person. Because why? You believe things in advance because you already know I'm good. God is like, I'm good. My word is good. It's like I'm good for it. He's like, and I don't like people talking to me like I'm not good for it. God is like, I'm offended by a person who act like I ain't got no resources. I act like I'm broke. I act like I'm busted. I act like I'm disgusted. I act like I done ran out of stuff. God is like, I don't like that. He say, God's like that does not please me. He said, that's a very unpleasant position to take towards me. He said, that's insult. You know why? He said, because I'm God. He said, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and all them that dwell therein, every living thing, every breathing thing. God is like, I don't appreciate it when you tell me that, when you don't believe what I'm telling you in advance. Why I got to tell you how I'm going to do something? God is like, I'm not going to tell you how I'm doing things. Why? Because you violated my principles. You telling me you don't trust me. And he's like, I'm God. I'm offended by that. He's like, I'm so rich. I got so much. My resources are, you won't have no idea. The Bible say, I have not seen, ye have not heard, neither has it even entered into the heart of man the good things that God's prepared for them that love him. But he has revealed it unto us, what? Through his spirit. But how? By faith. All right. I wish I had time to really unravel this thing. We got about 5 more minutes. I got to get out of here. So the number one thing is that faith, it makes you pleasant, not a peasant. The number two thing is faith. It makes you reward driven and not driven out, or outcome driven, but not driven out. Listen, don't get driven out of your inheritance. All right. Esau got driven out of his inheritance. Why? Because he didn't have no faith. He sold out for what? A morsel of meat. And why? He wanted his inheritance, and although he sought it with tears, he couldn't receive his blessing. Why? Because he didn't operate by faith. He operated by sight. He wanted that instant gratification. All right. So for all of us that are operating and want this instant gratification, all you're doing is driving yourself out of your inheritance. You can lose your inheritance because you drive yourself out of it, because you were born to be a king, born to be a queen. You were born to be abundant, to have an abundant life. And abundance is your birthright. All right. Posterity is your birthright. And it's my birthright too. And the only way that we can't get it is we have to drive ourselves out. Are you listening to me? By faith, we stay in the kingdom. By sight, we drive ourselves out. What happened with Adam and Eve? They were in the garden, had everything they wanted. They inherited everything that pertained to life and godliness. They drove themselves out. All right. They were sight driven and not faith driven. So what, they got driven out. Are you listening? If you're not outcome driven, then you get driven out. Don't get driven out of your inheritance. All right. Are you listening to me? All right. Number three. Third thing is that faith makes you a seeker and not a sneaker. All right. He said, who diligently seek God. See, when you don't seek God, then you're sneaking. Are you listening to me? The Bible says, here's the condemnation. The light is coming to the world, but men love darkness rather than light. Neither will they come to the light lest their deeds be revealed. All right. What does that mean? That means that I want to be a sneaker instead of what? A seeker. Because when you seek God, you stop sneaking. You start seeking and you stop sneaking. You stop trying to be nickel slick, trying to hide behind an 8-ball, trying to have your cake, trying to do things without making the performance, but trying to get the thing that you want, but you don't put in the performance to get it. See, I'm live every day. I've been live every day for years. Why? Because I'm wide open. Ain't no sneaking around here. You dig what I'm saying? I let you know what I stand for, how I get down. It is what it is. All right. Some people love me. Some people hate me. Some people are going to love you. Some people are going to hate you. Stop sneaking around being in the witness protection program. All right. Stop sneaking and start seeking. That's what faith does. Faith means that I don't give a rat's behind about what nobody thinks. All I'm going to do is put my stuff out there and let the chips fall wherever they fall. Why? By faith. Why? Because it's not my job to be figuring out everything ahead of time. It's only my job to put in the work. It ain't your job to be trying to figure out everything ahead of time. It's just your job to be doing the work. Why? Because God is not going to show you how he's going to do stuff, because he's a God of faith. He wants you to operate by faith, and he will not accept any other kind of service. That's it. That's how God get down. God don't get down no other kind of way. And if you want to see your bank account like mine grow from nothing to millions of dollars, if you want to see your life grow like mine, go from being in a joint to being able to travel around the world. I just woke up on a whim this morning and I said, listen, I called my buddy Ray. He cut hair real good. I need my haircut. I said, hey, Ray, meet me down in West Lafayette real quick. All right. I said, I pay for you to drive down here. I pay for your haircut. You can stay the whole day. You can stay the whole week if you want to. You got something else you want to do? Just come kick it with your brother for a few minutes and meet me over there quick, because I got a financial IQ challenge I'm doing. And I don't like the way my hair. So I'm riding around with a hat on the 4th of July. Why? Because my head ain't right, man. I need my butter done. You dig what I'm saying? Like, see, you can do that stuff when you're rich. Okay, you just wake up in the morning and just change all your plans and stuff. Why? Why? Because I've been operating by faith so long until now I got the money that shows up in a faith account. Look, what about your account this morning? You got a faith account. You just get up in the morning, just do whatever you want to do. I mean, me and Shantae, I said, get up. I said, get dressed. She can dress right now. We ain't had none of this stuff planned. I said, get dressed, baby. Get dressed quick. All right. She said, well, what's going on? I said, we're going to roll down to West Lafayette. Just get dressed real fast, baby. Get dressed real quick. Quick as you can. All right. So we get down here so my man can cut my hair. All right. So what I'm telling y'all is that this is, and the only difference between me and y'all, or y'all that's ballers and shot callers, and the next person is faith. That's it. That's the dividing line right here. All this money is on this side of faith. On this side of faith is poverty. It's just that simple. All right. But you say, keep making crispy. Hey, my man, Ray Cole. Y'all see, if you come to the Financial IQ Challenge, you be like, man, your waves is flicking today, Brother Rick. What's going on? It's because my buddy named Ray. You're a cold man. You're a bad man. We used to sing together in a group together. All right, let me get to the next thing. Let me read this next thing for you. So we're going to roll until Shantae come out. All right. So let me read this real quick. All right. It says, so by faith, Noah, being warned of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house. So faith is a what? Faith is a warner and not a scorner. All right. Faith warn you of stuff. Faith warn you of stuff that's already happened. So you say, Ricky, Noah's building an ark, and he like, but it ain't never rained. It ain't never rained. Okay. Before Noah built the ark, the water was coming from up under the ground and wetting up the earth. It wasn't no rain coming from down out the sky in the history of time while Noah's building an ark. So everybody think he high. Everybody think he drunk. Everybody think he's smoking some Snoop Doggy Dogg weed. They like, this Negro is crazy. He over here building a boat. A boat? A boat. A boat now. It ain't never rained. Everybody think he tripping. So what faith does, faith separates you from the crowd. Are you listening to me? Don't you sit around waiting on the crowd. If the crowd is doing it, go the opposite direction. Mama told me something when I was a little boy. She said, if you see a fight, go in the opposite direction. She said, but if you're in a fight, give them hell. I'm like, all right, that's some good advice, Mama. So from the time I was little, all the way into my 61 years of life right now, I've always determined in my mind, if the crowd is going this way, I'm going that way. Why? By faith. Why? Because I don't need the crowd's approval to do nothing. If you're going to get rich, you're going to have to do this stuff by yourself, all right? Tell your homies and all your friends and all that sort of thing, I see y'all later, okay? Why? Because y'all don't believe what I believe, and I'm not trying to convince y'all to believe it. I'm just going to build my ark while y'all sit around here playing games. Are you listening to me? Noah ain't got time to be arguing with nobody. How can how can he build an ark while he over there talking to his player hating homies and his old faithless friends? He would have never got no ark built. Are you listening to me? So he went over there, he building that ark every day. He got the knife, he got a sword out, he's sawing stuff and he building stuff, and boom, boom, in 120 years. It took him a long time to build it, you dig? And everybody tripping while he building it. They tripping. They tripping. They sitting over there drinking 40s, smoking weed, tooting cocaine, laughing at the dude, having parties and all kind of stuff, acting like that stuff ain't gonna never come to pass. This dude is tripping. That ain't never happened. See, but what they didn't understand is that the rain had already happened. They just hadn't seen it yet. All right. Because when God say it's gonna rain, baby, he ain't telling you it's gonna rain. He telling you, I done already created the rain. You just ain't seen it yet. Are you listening to me? That's what y'all gotta really understand. The number one thing I want you to get in your mind for the rest of your life, starting today, is God ain't about to do nothing. He already did it all. And you can really walk with a lot of confidence when you know that your life is already covered. Why? Because you're up under the covering of God. So you don't care nothing about what nobody's talking about. I'm like, man, you ain't talking about absolutely nothing. Miss me and move totally around the whole face of the earth, partner, because I'm telling you how this thing is really going down. I'm telling you, when I was dead broke doing plays, and this chick just gonna bogart, just this Jezebel type attitude, just gonna try to tell me what's gonna happen. She's like, look, you want to be a thousandaire, you want to be a millionaire, Ricky. She talking slick to me just because I'm at that particular time. I had no money, but I had a lot of work ethic. We was doing these plays. We did our first play, and like 600 people came to the play. So it didn't make no whole lot of money. I had a couple of dollars left when it was over with. But why she want to disrespect me like that? Just walk up to me. I'm the one that wrote the play, produced the play, got all the people acting, all this sort of thing. What? By faith. We just doing stuff by faith. I saw all that stuff in my head. And then next thing you know, we got it on the screen, on the stage, actually doing what it was that I saw in my head. That's what faith is. You see stuff in your head, and then you just go ahead and put out the work, and then you see the stuff actually come to pass that you saw in your head. I got a question for you today. What's in your head right now? All right? You're talking about what's in your wallet. Don't worry about what's in your wallet. What's in your head? Because what's in your head is going to produce what's in your wallet. That's the commercial everybody ought to be doing. What's in your head? What are you dreaming about right now? What kind of visions do you have right now? What can you see in your mind's eye right now? And now you're putting in the work right now like it already happened. Are you listening to me? I saw our play in my head. I saw the actors, I saw the dance, and I saw the singers. I saw all the stuff in my head. And then the day that it happened, it was remarkable because I'm like, wow, now I can actually see what happened in my head actually taking place in real life. Excuse me. So faith means that you're going to do what you're going to do anyway, no matter what nobody got to say about it, no matter how nobody feel about it, no matter how they react to it, and no matter how much they hate on you. See, this is the problem with y'all faith. The problem with y'all faith is that as soon as y'all start doing something and you start getting opposed, you start acting like wouldn't everybody supposed to just go along with you. I'm like, that ain't reality. Faith means that as soon as the haters start, it don't do nothing but intensify my determination to do what it is that I see in my head. How about you? When I have haters and stuff around me, I act like they are invisible. I'm like, man, you don't even exist. All right. Why? Because it's going down anyway. I don't need you to stop. I don't need your approval for nothing to go down. Are you dig what I'm saying? That's why some of you all are not operating in your gifts and everything right now, because your faith, it starts failing, it starts foiling, it starts folding up. Why? Because of people. Noah wouldn't have never built no ark if he was sitting around there listening to the crowd. Are you listening to me? He building an ark. No, ain't nobody believe him. Why? Because the whole world got wiped out. The Bible say he moved with fear. All right, because what? He's afraid of God, not afraid of them little poo butts, that's sitting around there burning bread and everything while he's doing what it is he's supposed to be doing. He just steady making it happen, steady making it happen, he's steady building, steady building, steady building, steady building, steady building. Pass me that, pass me another, pass me another. Why? Because he's gonna save his family. That's why. And listen, if you're gonna save your family, you're gonna have to tell the whole world, man, y'all go ahead on about y'all business, because I'm saving my family. All right, y'all do whatever y'all want to do, but me and my family, we're gonna be ballers and shot callers. Are you listening to me? My daughter was sick last week. They went into her neck to take a mass out of my neck. Shantice, keep praying for Shantice. All right, so Shantice works for me. All right, so they went into her neck to get this mass out. So she can't call our customers and do the stuff that she normally does. So I said, don't worry about it, Shantice. I just call them for you, baby. All right. And you can, and however long it takes for you to heal up, it just take that long. Don't you worry about calling nobody, talking to nobody. If it takes you a week to heal up, cool. If it takes you a month to heal up, cool. If it takes you 6 years to heal up, we'll have somebody else take your place until you heal, and you'll still get paid. Why? Because you paid until further notice. Why? Because we rich. Why we rich? Because we operate by faith. I'm just a dude from the hood. That's all. Just $50 in a hotel room. So I don't want to hear none of them excuses y'all making up. You can have faith. Don't let nobody invade your faith. Are you listening to me? How dare you? You sitting up dreaming about what you want to do, envisioning what you want to do, and then somebody call you on the phone and invade your faith. Some demons get in your head and invade your faith. Some hater sends you an email and invade your faith. Somebody send you a stupid text message and invade your faith. Somebody post some nonsense online about you and invade your faith. Maybe better tell all them little marks to get to stepping. All right, you hear what I'm talking about? Because you got goals, you got dreams, you got objectives, you got things you're supposed to be doing right now. And don't let nobody hinder your faith. All right, you already seen it. You've already seen it in your head. The only thing that stopped you from doing it is the opposition that you got. But not Noah. Not Noah. Noah's over here. Noah's like, man, it's gonna rain. Why? Because God told him it's gonna rain. And when God tell you something going to happen, baby, it already happened. Okay? And that's all you need to move on. You don't need no more approval. God told you what's going to happen. That's it. Everybody else, y'all just cease to exist. All right? Because it's on and cracking around here. So when that lady was talking to me, talking about you want to be a thousandaire, you want to be a millionaire, Brother Ricky, or what you want to be. I'm like, it's up to you. I'm like, you got a lot of nerve to be talking to me like you Jesus Christ. What the hell is wrong with you? When you become God, my future is based on you. Man, you better miss me. And I told you, move around the whole face of the earth. My future is not based on you and what you're talking about. All right. My future is based on this word and what God said. So I'm over here doing this play because God told me to do it. All these people being blessed by the play and all that. And whatever else the next thing it is I'm going to do that God told me to do. So I just move from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, from one step to the next, to the next, to the next, never looking for nobody's approval. Why? Because you're too busy working. Look, would y'all please get in motion? See, faith makes you momentum. It puts you in motion. Faith puts you in motion. Faith is why you're working. Why? Because you just believe it's already done. You believe it's already happened. You believe it's worth the time and the effort you put into something, and you ain't nothing gonna stop you from doing nothing except dying. All right. And once you make up your mind like that, then everybody else, they just get steamrolled on out the way. I'm not saying that they don't keep doing the same foolishness and they ain't gonna keep coming at you. Some folks gonna come at you until the day they drop dead. So what? All right. So what? Give them a real reason to hate you. Do something really worthwhile, okay? Make it rain up in this piece. Stop sitting around here waiting on folk and all that sort of thing, and handle your doggone business. Shantae just walked by. She was looking so good. Made me want to cut the doggone live off. I'll see you in a couple of seconds, baby. Haters, look at that. Don't be hating on my woman, all right? Get your own, all right? All right, let me get to the next thing. All right, so what happened with Noah? Real quick. All right. So by faith, Noah being warned of God of things not seen as yet. That's what I want. That's the last thing I want to tell you. All right. I'll stop by to tell you this morning. Faith will make you aware. Oh yeah, faith will make you aware. Well, nobody else be paying attention to what you're paying attention to. Why? Because that's how faith is. Faith will make you aware. Are you listening to me? Instead of being worn out. See, most people are worn out. They worn out. Why? Because they worn out. Sight will wear you behind out. You sitting around looking at things, that stuff will wear you out. But faith, it'll make you aware. Sight, it'll wear you out. Why? Because it'll make you worry. Faith will make you aware. Sight will make you worry. Why? Because you're just looking at what's in front of you. So what do? You get worn out. You're just looking at that thing that's happening right now in front of me, right now in front of me, right now in front of me. And that stuff wears you out. You like, it ain't no way this gonna ever change. Ain't no way this gonna get no better. Ain't no way I'm gonna step over this. This is just insurmountable. This is an exercise in futility. I might as well fold up my tent, go someplace and sit down and shut up. That's the way things are when you're looking right at what you're looking at. But that's not the way faith operates. The way faith operates is it makes you what? Aware. It what? Makes you alert. It makes you what? It makes you look past what you're looking at. Why? You're like, that ain't nothing. All right, that ain't nothing. Because all of us got to deal with that. We all got to deal with what's right in front of us. Every last human being on the face of the earth, we got to deal with that. But how do you deal with it? You deal with it by faith. So what does faith do? It takes what's in front of you and it pushes it to the left. To the left, to the left. That's what it does to that. And like, I'm not looking at that. All right. I see you right here. Like, I got to push that crap to the left. Why? Because you blocking my doggone faith. I'm looking at my future right here because my faith is my future. I'm sitting here looking at my future and my future looks fantastic, beautiful. I mean, drop dead gorgeous. My future look like Shantae up in that piece. That's the way my future looks. All right. That's what I'm telling you. And your future look the same way. The only problem is that your faith is being blocked what? By your sight. So you can't see your future. So your future is right in front of you and it looks beautiful because everything that God says is beautiful. He says, I know my plans towards you. He said, plans to do you good and not evil to give you an expected end. God said, don't play with me. He said, I know how I feel about you. All right. Because your sight will tell you that God got it out for you. Your sight will tell you that God, he's trying to pimp slap you. Your sight will tell you that God, man, he mean me evil. That's the way your sight is. Your sight is evil. Your sight ain't right. Your sight is lying to you. Your sight is telling you stuff that ain't true. And then your sight, what? It agrees with all your player hating enemies because your enemies, they operating by sight. So what they going to do? They're going to tell you the same thing your sight is telling you and do what? Incite you and do what? Excite you to do what? Make sure that you forfeit your blessings and make sure you forfeit the outcome you're supposed to have. Why? Because you're paying attention to what's right in front of you, and God is not going to let you see things right in front of you that ain't the way he operates. The way he operates is that you got to look afar to be able to see where your faith is. Your faith is not in front of you. Are you listening to me? Your faith is your future. It is advanced. Now, how in the world are you going to advance in life if everything you keep doing is what you've been doing? God, that's not how we advance. We advance because we're looking for something. We press towards the mark of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. We always looking ahead. That's the way faith is. Faith is progressive. It makes you look ahead. Are you picking up what I'm putting? You always looking ahead. You always looking ahead. You always looking ahead. Why? So it makes you move. Are you listening to me? You got to move when you're living by faith. Are you digging what I'm saying? That's why I told my man to meet me. And are you ready, baby? We better get out of here by faith. I'm gonna miss this doggone haircut. Yeah, I love all y'all. I see some of y'all in the challenge real soon. The rest of y'all, it's been a plum, please, and pleasure as well as a privilege. And remember that Stella is as Stella does. Now get on out of here by faith and make it happen, all right? Get on out of here and make it happen, all right?